Hey guys, Darren here again. What we thought we'd like to probably go through, which we didn't probably touch on a great deal during the raffle car build, is how we did certain things and came up with, seating position, front end position, all those sorts of different things. So the first one we're going to do is a setting up for your steering column and determining your steering column length. So one of the first things we like to do is try and, once the body is mated to the chassis, we try and work out where our seating position is, because that really has got to determine a lot of how long your column's got to be. So what we'll generally do is, we'll sit in the car, we'll make sure that we've got a comfortable seating position, and then we'll just sort of go like that. What we'll then do to start measuring the column length is we'll then get someone while we're sitting in here to sort of measure from that surface where our hands are sitting on a steering wheel down to where we think it's got to go through the firewall, so where we know we're going to have clearance. So we'll take a measurement of this side down to that firewall, and then from there we'll then hop out of the car. And as you can see then, once we come down the front here, we try and determine our best positioning for space down here. So depending on headers, starter motor, all that sort of bizzo that we've got going on down here. So a lot of times, we'll maybe finish these up somewhere closer to the firewall. With this one here, we had quite ample room down here, and we haven't got a pedal assembly coming through the floor on this car. So we had a fair bit of room to play with. We chose to bring it down that little bit further. We then run that into our universal joints. So from a measurement point of view, what we would then do is measure from that firewall point down to the end of where we think the shaft needs to be. So that will then give us our overall length. We'll then talk to the guys at Australian Rod and Custom Components, depending on the choice of steering column that the customer wants, whether they want tilt or a non-adjustable retro style column like this one's got. We'll then determine what length it is and make some decisions accordingly. So that's kind of where we start with that process, and then from there we obviously mock up all of our steering unis and try and work out the path of least resistance, getting it around headers, around starter motor, around any chassis cross members and so forth. So this one here, we've gone with a 3 universal joint setup and has a support bearing in the middle here. So quite good from the perspective of getting around certain componentry, like as we said, the headers. What we also have here in Queensland, and I know other states are a little bit different, but a lot of engineers will determine that this here is actually a shear point from a collapsibility point of view. So in the event of a front end collision, this here will shear off and not send this column straight up through into the driver. So that also is a point that we try and make sure that we've never got a direct line of sight through to the front of the car, so that so it's got those safety nets in it. So that's kind of the process we start with, and then obviously you can choose your type of column and your finishes and your steering wheel and all that sort of stuff accordingly. So yeah.